what's going on, the current political climate. I'm just saying I don't want to turn anybody off, but I hate politics. Like, despise them. It's a magic trick that it's not real. I don't believe in either side, because I think when you pick a side, you are only, you are inadvertently supporting division. Yeah, it's not a popular point of view, but I just gotta say, like, think about it. The wells are drying up, and okay, now the diversity's off the table, now equity's off the table, now inclusion's off the table. So that makes me ask myself, okay, so how do we survive? Well, are there black people here tonight?
Yeah. I was scrolling through Neighborhood Talk when I stumbled on a clip of Pharrell saying something that really made me pause. He asked a question that's simple but shocking. Are you truly the best at what you do, or are you relying on your identity to open doors? And here's the part that hit me. People with the right skills are still being overlooked just because of their name, their background, or how they look. In a world where DEI programs are fading, Pharrell's message is clear. Excellence is the only thing that lasts. Stick around, because what he said will make you rethink everything about success and opportunity. I was scrolling through Neighborhood Talk when I came across a clip of our brother Pharrell. In the video, he mentioned that he isn't really into politics, but I was on Neighborhood Talk the other day when I stumbled across a clip of Pharrell sharing some thought-provoking perspectives that really made me pause. In the video, he posed a question that seems simple on the surface but carries a lot of weight. Do you genuinely, in your heart, believe that you're the best at what you do? And if the answer is yes, he asked a follow-up. When you pursue opportunities, is it because of your racial identity, or because your excellence speaks for itself? This was a challenging question, because it cuts straight to the heart of ambition, merit, and how we view success in a society where both race and skill intersect in complex ways. Pharrell's point wasn't about diminishing the importance of black or brown identity. Rather, he was highlighting that support for businesses owned by people of color shouldn't be driven solely by identity or optics. Instead, it should come from a recognition of genuine ambition, skill, and quality. In other words, if a black or brown entrepreneur is producing outstanding work, their race may be part of their identity, but the reason people invest in or support them should ultimately be the same reason anyone else succeeds: excellence and vision. He went further to explain that even if concepts like diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI for short, fade from public attention or societal priority, excellence remains something that cannot be taken away. It's a constant, a currency that transcends trends, policies, and the fluctuating focus of popular discourse. Pharrell emphasized that he doesn't want handouts or special treatment. He doesn't want people to offer him opportunities simply because of his race or background. Instead, he wants his talent to be undeniable, such that those around him feel they simply cannot afford to let him walk out of the room without recognizing his value. His philosophy is rooted in self-reliance, competitiveness, and a commitment to producing work that demands recognition, work that creates its own momentum, irrespective of external labels or societal favors. Interestingly, Pharrell also frames his perspective as distinctly non-political. He openly admits that he dislikes political debates and refuses to align himself with either side of the spectrum. Yet, he manages to address a topic that is inherently political in our current social context: the way race intersects with opportunity and success. He emphasizes that excellence should be the true driver of achievement and recognition, not race, while still acknowledging the reality that, historically and presently, racial identity has played a significant role in who gets noticed and who does not. By separating his focus from politics, he shifts the conversation away from external validation or entitlement and toward a personal responsibility to achieve and to excel. It's a nuanced position. While many see DEI programs or similar initiatives as a necessary societal equalizer, Pharrell's message is more individualistic, encouraging people to rely on their own skill, creativity, and ambition as the foundation of success. To truly understand his perspective, it helps to look at Pharrell's own career trajectory. He has consistently demonstrated this high-achieving, competitive mindset across multiple industries. In music, he's not just a participant, he's a creator, a producer, and an innovator, continually pushing boundaries and setting standards. In fashion, particularly with brands like Billionaire Boys Club, he's proven himself as a visionary entrepreneur who understands the intricacies of building a brand that resonates both culturally and commercially. Across both fields, his track record reflects a relentless drive to be the best, not the best because of his racial identity, but the best because of his skill, creativity, and ability to execute at the highest level. He has built empires where quality and ambition take center stage, and his success is a direct reflection of that mindset. Another subtle but important aspect of Pharrell's argument is the idea that merit and excellence provide sustainability. Policies and trends, such as DEI initiatives, may come and go, and while they can create opportunities, they are not permanent guarantees. By focusing on being the best, he argues, individuals can create long-term relevance and impact regardless of shifting social programs or political climates. Talent and effort are portable assets. They move with you, cannot be rescinded arbitrarily, and, when cultivated effectively, create opportunities that are self-reinforcing. This perspective encourages a kind of independence, a self-sufficiency that ensures one's achievements are durable and respected even when external conditions change. It's also worth noting that Pharrell's stance challenges a common misunderstanding about DEI and racial identity in professional settings. Some people interpret DEI initiatives as a form of entitlement, an assumption that success will automatically be handed to someone based solely on race or representation quotas. Pharrell seems to be addressing this misconception indirectly. While acknowledging the importance of representation and the challenges that Black and brown professionals face, he makes it clear that success, in his view, should never be transactional in that way. Excellence should speak for itself. Recognition and opportunity should come as a result of merit, ambition, and tangible results. This is a particularly empowering message because it redirects the focus from seeking validation externally to cultivating personal mastery and agency. Finally, Pharrell's position is inspiring because it reflects a kind of resilience that transcends race and industry. It's a call to action for everyone, regardless of background, to cultivate their skills, embrace hard work, and focus relentlessly on producing their best work. At the same time, it is deeply contextual for the Black and brown community. It underscores the reality that talent alone is not always enough in systems where racial bias exists, but mastery, perseverance, and exceptional results can create undeniable leverage. His own accomplishments, whether in music, fashion, or entrepreneurship, serve as a living example of this philosophy in action, showing that the combination of skill, ambition, and relentless execution can overcome barriers and establish lasting influence. In short, Pharrell's message is multi-layered. On one level, it's about individual excellence and self-reliance. On another, it's about ensuring that Black and brown businesses and professionals are recognized for their actual talent rather than as a form of social optics or trend-driven inclusion. And while he disavows politics and handouts, he still brings the discussion full circle by showing that doing extraordinary work will always demand attention and respect, regardless of changing societal priorities. Watching him speak, it's clear that his career, from Billionaire Boys Club to his music endeavors, embodies exactly what he preaches: a relentless pursuit of excellence that transcends identity, creates opportunity, and commands recognition. I get the direction Pharrell is coming from, and I can understand his perspective, but it's important to recognize why one of his fans strongly pushed back on his argument, particularly when he added that people should be hired strictly based on skill rather than skin tone. On the surface, this may sound reasonable. Meritocracy is a principle most people value. But in practice, the statement reveals a common misunderstanding about what diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) initiatives actually aim to achieve. Pharrell's point seemed to imply that race shouldn't factor into opportunity at all, which sparked a lot of debate. The problem is that such a view, while appealing in theory, misses the real challenges that systemic bias creates in workplaces and educational institutions. By suggesting that opportunities should always be merit-based and ignoring the role of race in shaping who gets access, one risks echoing the very talking points that have historically been used to discredit DEI programs. DEI does not exist to give unqualified individuals opportunities simply because of their racial or ethnic background. Rather, it exists to ensure that qualified individuals are fairly considered in systems where unconscious and systemic biases might otherwise filter them out before they even get a chance. To put this in perspective, consider the way bias shows up in resume reviews. Countless studies have demonstrated that qualified applicants with traditionally Black names, such as Tyrone, Jamal, or Mohammed, are frequently dismissed before their qualifications are even reviewed. Their resumes are overlooked not because they lack the necessary skills, education, or experience, but because of implicit bias tied to their names and perceived identity. Meanwhile, candidates with names considered more neutral or traditionally white, like Tom, John, or Bob, are more likely to receive callbacks, interviews, and opportunities, even when their qualifications are similar or inferior. DEI initiatives aim to correct exactly this imbalance. Their purpose is to ensure that candidates who are already qualified and who have met the same standards as other applicants are not ignored simply because systemic bias exists in the evaluation process. It's important to emphasize that DEI is not about lowering standards, giving handouts, or hiring someone purely because of their race or gender. It's not a quota system in the sense that some critics claim. Rather, it is about fairness, equity, and acknowledging that the playing field is not level in the first place. A qualified black pilot is not hired just for being black. She is hired because she meets the same rigorous requirements as anyone else, but in many cases, DEI ensures that her application is actually considered rather than dismissed due to unconscious prejudice. Similarly, qualified women and candidates from other underrepresented groups are given fair visibility so that the selection process accurately reflects talent rather than bias. This distinction is critical because it shows that DEI is fundamentally about creating opportunity for those who have already proven themselves, rather than artificially inflating representation without merit. VP Pharrell, a commentator who has spoken thoughtfully about this issue, made an important point. DEI is not the same as affirmative action, even though the two are sometimes conflated. Affirmative action, as it has been historically implemented, often involved reserving a specific number of seats or opportunities for underrepresented groups, sometimes allowing candidates with slightly lower test scores or qualifications to be admitted in order to meet a diversity target. A commonly cited example is Michelle Obama's reported admission to Princeton University. While she had strong academic records and impressive grades, her SAT scores did not meet the usual threshold, and yet she was still admitted, which some have described as an example of affirmative action in practice. The goal in that case was to ensure representation in a space where systemic barriers had historically excluded qualified black applicants. DEI, by contrast, is not about reserving spots or lowering standards. Instead, it addresses systemic bias that filters out qualified candidates before they are even fully considered. It recognizes that biases, both conscious and unconscious, exist in every stage of hiring, promotion, or admissions processes. DEI initiatives aim to neutralize those biases so that the most capable and qualified individuals, regardless of race, gender, or background, have a fair chance to succeed. The emphasis is on equal treatment and equal consideration for applicants who already meet the established standards. For instance, if a qualified black candidate's resume is overlooked repeatedly due to bias, DEI ensures that such a candidate is given the opportunity to compete fairly, thereby preventing discrimination from dictating outcomes. This distinction is often misunderstood in public discourse, which is why Pharrell's comments were controversial. Some interpreted his argument as dismissing the necessity of DEI entirely, suggesting that talent alone should suffice. But in reality, talent alone does not always overcome systemic inequities. Without DEI, highly qualified candidates can be repeatedly filtered out due to factors entirely unrelated to their abilities or achievements. The existence of bias in hiring, promotion, and admissions is well documented, and ignoring it in favor of a purely merit-based argument can perpetuate inequality rather than solve it. DEI is a mechanism to ensure that merit is recognized on a level playing field, rather than being blocked by structural obstacles that prevent qualified individuals from being fairly evaluated in the first place. Ultimately, the goal of DEI is fairness, not favoritism. It is about acknowledging that historical and systemic barriers exist and taking intentional steps to remove them so that everyone can compete on equal footing. It ensures that black candidates, women, and other underrepresented groups who have met or exceeded the required standards are not ignored, undervalued, or dismissed due to bias. By distinguishing DEI from affirmative action, it becomes clear that the initiative is not about lowering standards, it is about making the standards themselves accessible to all qualified candidates. This understanding is crucial in debates about race, opportunity, and fairness in modern workplaces, educational institutions, and beyond, and it highlights why discussions around DEI remain so relevant today. The brother also brought up name discrimination, something many of us in the black community know all too well, especially men and women with traditionally black names like Quan, Deshaun, Shantae, or Lakeisha. Even if you're fully qualified, having a name associated with black identity can influence how seriously your application is taken. Phil recently highlighted a story that perfectly illustrates this: a black man who landed a job interview only after changing his name on his resume from Dwight Johnson to John Jabrowski. He's now suing the company for discrimination. According to CNN, Dwight Jackson, 27, applied to several positions at the upscale Shinola Hotel in downtown Detroit, including front desk roles, between January and April, submitting a resume that reflected steady employment and experience at luxury hotels like the Detroit Marriott Westin Book Cadillac and the David Whitney. After hearing nothing back from his first application on April 24, he resubmitted the same resume with only one major change: his name. Almost immediately, He was invited to multiple interviews in the same week. His attorney emphasized that being denied an opportunity in your own hometown in 2024 simply because of your race is more than a financial blow, it's psychologically damaging. And unfortunately, this isn't an isolated incident. Countless Black Americans have shared similar experiences with name-based discrimination. Nigerian Americans and other African immigrants have also spoken about facing the same bias, which has made me reconsider just how widespread and deeply rooted this issue truly is. This whole discussion has made me look at DEI in a very different light than I used to. But before anything else, let me go back to Pharrell. He's an incredibly talented entrepreneur with a relentless work ethic that's carried him to success in both music and fashion. He's built an empire, and not everyone can or will follow that same path. I understand that his message is essentially, own your work, be exceptional, and opportunities will follow. But the problem is that part of what he's saying doesn't hold up in the real world. The truth is, not everyone gets a fair shot simply because they are Black, even when they are fully qualified. The example of the man who switched his name to something that sounded Ashkenazi Jewish and immediately received interviews, leading him to file a lawsuit, proves that. And this happened in Detroit, a city where the population is overwhelmingly Black. So while Pharrell is encouraging people to succeed regardless of their race, he's blending that idea with something that sounds like DEI, even though it isn't the same. He seems to be responding to people who believe DEI hands out opportunities based purely on race, as if companies are required to hire a certain number of Black candidates no matter what. And yes, some people do misinterpret DEI that way and see it as a kind of entitlement. But we also have to acknowledge that society clearly does not feel it owes Black people anything. Affirmative action is gone, DEI is being dismantled, and the political climate is becoming increasingly hostile. What this moment is actually doing is forcing Black people to build our own ecosystems, which is exactly what Pharrell himself is doing. If we want a space where Black talent, Black entrepreneurship, and merit truly matter, then we have to create that system ourselves. And I think that's where the heart of his message was: be excellent, stop relying on hookup culture, and don't expect shortcuts. But at the same time, the other brother made a stronger point about what DEI was meant to address in the first place, because excellence alone isn't always enough when you're moving through systems that still discriminate on sight, and even on paper. Going to stay stuck. Every other group already understands this. I'm in Uganda right now, and I see it firsthand, how the Eritrean community moves collectively, how Somali and Indian communities build for themselves, support each other, and create their own economic ecosystems. That's exactly what we need to do as well, because relying on DEI is not an option. It's already been dismantled. And if we want people with traditionally Black names, or even natural hairstyles, to have fair employment opportunities, we must build environments where those expressions of identity are normal and respected. We've seen brothers denied jobs for wearing locks, and Black women threatened with termination for embracing their natural hair. So the real question becomes, where are the Black-owned institutions and businesses that create spaces for us to thrive, to hire our people, to reinvest back into the community, and to normalize our cultural identity? Without those structures, the debates about DEI and affirmative action won't matter, because the broader society has made it clear they are done entertaining them. So that's the reality we're working with. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. This is Osha Duke Jackson signing off from another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Thanks for tuning in, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.